everyone, welcome. Today we are going to break down the single most fundamental concept in all of programming, the variable. Seriously, if you can get this one idea, you've taken the first giant leap towards making computers do pretty much whatever you want. So let's dive right in.
Have you ever stopped to think about that? You're playing a game, and your score is constantly changing, but the game always knows exactly what it is? Or you open an app, and it says, hey, your name. How on earth does a computer keep track of that information?
Well, the answer is actually super simple. It all comes down to something called a variable. And a variable is just a fancy, technical name for a labeled box. That's it. A box in the computer's memory that has a name on it, and you can put stuff inside. We're really going to stick with this whole labeled box idea because it's honestly the perfect way to picture what's going on, especially when you're working with Python. And what's so cool about Python is there's no big ceremony. There's no complicated setup. The exact moment you decide on a label for your box and you put something inside it, that variable just springs into existence. It's that easy.
And this is exactly what it looks like in your code. We've got our label, name. Now that equals sign, this is super important. It's not the equals you know from math class. Think of it more like an arrow. It's the assignment operator. It says, take the thing on the right, in this case the text Alex, and put it inside the box labeled name on the left.
Okay, so let's move on and actually see how we can create and, more importantly, change what's inside these boxes. This is where things start to get really powerful.
Let's try another one. With this simple line of code, we're telling Python, hey, make me a box, slap the label score on it, and put the number 100 inside. And just like that, we've stored a piece of data. So we've put something in the box, but how do we, peek inside to see what's there? For that, we use the print command. Just think of it like a little window that lets you look inside any box and see the value it's holding. And yep, when we run print score, this is what the computer shows us. It just looks inside that score box and tells us, hey, the number 100 is in here. No tricks, it does exactly what you'd expect. Now, this is why they're called variables, because the stuff inside them can vary or change. Take a look at this line of code. Python is smart. It always, and I mean always, figures out the right side of the equal sign first. So it takes the current value inside score, which is 100, adds 5 to it to get 105. Then it takes that new result and puts it back into the score box, overwriting what was there before.
So, of course, if we print score again, we now see 105. The old value of 100 is gone, replaced by the new one. And this right here is exactly how a game keeps your score updated. Every time you get points, it's just doing a little bit of math like this.
Okay, so we know how to create them and change them. But like any good tool, there's a quick user manual. Let's run through the basic rules for naming your variables and the different kinds of information you can store in them.
The rules for your labels or variable names are pretty straightforward. They have to start with a letter or an underscore. They can't ever start with a number. And this last one's a big one to remember. They are case sensitive. That means a box named age with a lowercase a is a totally different box than one named age with a capital A. And hey, while you could name a variable TS, it's so much better to give it a descriptive name. If it's holding the total score, just call it total score. This style, with all lowercase words separated by underscores, is called snake case. And it's the standard way to do things in Python to keep your code super readable. So what kind of stuff can you actually put in these boxes? Well, Python automatically handles 4 main types. You've got integers, or int, for whole numbers. You've got floats for any numbers with decimals. You've got strings, or str, for any kind of text. And you have booleans, which are just true or false. The best part? You never have to tell Python what type it is. It just figures it out on its own the second you put a value in the box. Now that we've got the rules down, let's look at a couple of really cool, elegant shortcuts that make writing Python code feel kind of fun and efficient. So instead of using 3 different lines to create 3 variables, Python lets you do this. Assign everything all at once on a single line. It's smart enough to match them up. A gets 10, B gets 20, and C gets 30. It's just a really clean and fast way to get set up. All right, here's a classic little programming puzzle. Let's say you have 2 boxes. Box A has the number 3 inside, and box B has the number 7. How do you swap their contents so that A ends up with 7 and B ends up with 3? In a lot of programming languages, this is kind of clumsy, and you actually need a third temporary box to do it. But in Python,
It's this one beautiful, simple line of code. It's so clear, it almost reads like plain English. You're just telling Python, hey, the new values for A and B should be the old values of B and A. This is one of those little things that programmers just absolutely love about Python.
okay, finally, let's go over a couple of common little tripwires for beginners. Seriously, avoiding these two things will save you a lot of headaches down the road.
All right, pop quiz time. Take a quick look at this line of code. There's a small but really critical error in there. Can you see what's wrong with it?
Did you catch it? The mistake is the missing quotes. Whenever you're working with text, what we call a string, you have to wrap it in either single or double quotes. If you don't, Python thinks Sam is the name of another variable. It gets confused and it throws an error. The fix is just to pop those quotes on there. So let's just bring this all home. After everything we've looked at, the main takeaway is this. Don't let the technical term variable scare you. All it is a labeled box for storing information. That's it. And that simple idea is the powerful foundation for absolutely everything you're going to build with code. And we'll end on this thought. You now have the fundamental building block for giving a computer a memory. You can store a name, a score, a price, anything. That barrier to entry is gone. So the only question left isn't what is a variable, it's what are you going to create?